Hello, welcome to Obligation Reviews, where I have the obligations to go review a video game. Today's game is Castlevania HD. It's a co-op multiplayer game available on 360 and PS3. Now, I was introduced and given this game by an angel. Well, anyways, this game is okay. I mean, I like Castlevania, but this game feels like something's not complete about it, so that's it for this video. Oh, you wanted an in-depth detail about this game? Oh, okay. I guess I gotta write more. Well, seeing as how this game is shorter than my cock, I can't think of a clever way to word this game, so I won't. Instead, it'll be point by point of what I think of this game, okay? Okay, here we go. Number 1, the PlayStation version is better. 'Cause it is. Now, I am more supportive of the PS3, but here are facts that make it better than the Xbox version. It has 4-player local co-op, which Xbox does not have. It has free online to play co-op with. It comes with Chapter 7 DLC free and 2 DLC characters free. So there you have it. If you ever want to purchase this game, I highly recommend the PS3 version for its local co-op. Number 2. The characters, which most of them are into S&M, sub-weapons and magic. Now, I know Castlevania is about vampire hunters that like to whip things, and magic users who beat things with a stick. But when I'm playing this game, over half the time I pick Soma or Dracula because they're more useful and diverse than the others. They can equip several different weapons to attack with. Meanwhile, the others are just restricted to either using a whip or a stick. Also, they rely so much on their sub-weapons or magic that I have not seen a single person use the characters with their melee attacks. Yes, I know magicians are supposed to use magic, but it doesn't change the fact they use MP like they're on a shopping spree. And the vampire hunters? I could have sworn that their main weapon was a whip, not a sub-weapon. Sub-weapons were always just something useful that helps you out in tricky situations, but by no means they are the main weapon. Hey, here's a thought. Let them equip different types of whips that do different things, like the flame whip from Simon's Quip. Number 3, the story. Oh, who gives a fuck? I suggest if you're a story-driven individual, that you should turn this video off. Because who gives a shit about the story? No one cares but you. Number 4, DLC. But why does a game that come 1 year later need DLC, when the earlier one has all of it by this time? I'm starting to get really sick and tired of some DLC, because whenever I hear it, it sometimes sounds like they never fully finished the game and you're paying more to finish it. Don't get me wrong, I do like DLC that adds a lot more to a game, like the Fallout 3 DLC, the Borderlands DLC, Castlevania HD, nope. I mean, Konami was getting it right with the PS3 when they had Chapter 7 included with the game, but they just stopped and didn't include everything else. Why? Why is there a need to do that? The only reason you shouldn't have all the DLC loaded in your game is if there's more DLC coming. But is there? No, Konami pretty much stopped adding DLC to the game, so there was no excuse not to have all of it when the PS3 version came out. Just have all of it included and charge us $10 more or something instead of making us buy it separately. What are you trying to do? Scam me out of my cash? Oh, wait a minute. An angel gave this to me, so I shouldn't complain. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is if one version of your game comes out a year later and the other version has all the DLC by then put all of it in the latest version. Oh, and then there's the DLC character. Number 5, the levels of the short-lived. If you break this game's levels down, they are very short. You'd think they'd have more levels to make up for the 5 minutes it takes to breeze through the levels. Minus Chapter 10. That level's pretty long if you're not glitching through it. Hey, why don't they— Number 6, the leveling up. AKA the grinding. Oh my god, we're getting into the worst part of this game. Now, if there's anything you and me hate, it is grinding. Doesn't matter what game it is, it sucks. The worst part of Castlevania HD is that there are 2 types of grinding. XP grinding and item grinding. And it wouldn't have been so bad if it didn't have a heavy dose of both. See, I like the idea of leveling up your weapons and making it more powerful, but whenever a leveling mechanic is involved, you'd better hope there's no grinding, which this game has. Unfortunately. Now, going back to the characters who rely on their MP a lot, you're going to use them to make them more powerful. So why bother having a main weapon? The main weapon doesn't even get to level up, so it makes it like a last resort type of weapon. From Soma and Dracula, they have side weapons / magic to use too, but they don't heavily rely on it for all their fights. Soma's soul power helps him to do things faster, and Dracula's spells are just fun things to throw around, but everyone else just relies on magic. I mean, what happens if there was a level where you're cursed all the time? You know what that's called? You're fucked. But back to the point, mastery of sub-weapons and magic is time-consuming and number 6.5, I'm going to break my skull. AKA the grinding part 2. Does it get worse? It gets worse. While XP or mastery grinding is boring, at least there's a defined finishing line, albeit it's 100 hours in the future for each character. But item grinding, that is a brand new piece of hell you're gonna go through if you're out of luck. Because you'll need it a lot, because if you're going to put up with it, you're going to be spending hours and hours for miles and miles trying to get the exact item you're looking for. For example, Count Dracula drops the Valman Way, a weapon that I want to get. But look how many times I've killed him. You'd think somewhere within his 100 demise that he'd drop it, and I'd leave him alone. Yet on some other boss fight like the Legion, I only killed him less than 20 times and he dropped it for me. Hang on, let me go deliver a message to Count Dracula. Now I'm going to borrow a quote from someone who's borrowing the quote from someone. Brevity is the soul of wit. It means don't waste my time, but I'm going to add to that. Brevity is the soul of wit in video gaming, so don't waste my time, Konami. I know you want to add replay value to this game, but grinding for XP or items is not replay value, it's repetitive value. What you should have done is number 7, online play. The place where you're supposedly playing with others. Either not many people play this game at all, or they're not very open people. Like Asian bitches, why do you think they're so tight? Aside from that, it makes the game just a little bit more enjoyable, especially if you're not equipped with overpowered gear that makes you a cardboard cutout during the game. In conclusion, you got the PS3 version which has local play on it, which is good. Friends go to your house and you play, and you get some free content too. You also only got 2 characters that are actually interesting to play because the rest are into S&M play, sub-weapons and magic. That kinda sucks since you can't do it forever. You got a story that no one knows unless they look online. You got DLC which shouldn't even be there for PS3 because they're not making any more for either version. It should have been packaged in together at a higher price. Which doesn't help when the DLC chapters are really short except for chapter 10, so that really sucks. Then you have horrible grindfest that makes me want to go back and play MapleStory, and MapleStory had some pretty horrible grinding moments really early on. So that really drags this game down because that's the replay value. Keep playing the chapter over and over until you get the item or GTFO. And lastly, unless you're playing online with your friends or buddy, it's not exactly as fun because there isn't a lot of people playing it. Either that or the rooms are locked. I'd suggest not buying it because it's really short and the grinding is just ass. But if you're really into Castlevania and you want to play this crossover of characters, and you got a bunch of friends who'll play this with you, then go buy it. I still suggest not doing that and buying something else. This review was brought to you by Obligation Reviews and an angel. I'd also like to make an apology to ShadowSnake123. This game was not worth fighting over our friendship for, and I'd like to apologize for that. So sorry, man. We can still talk, right?